At our anniversary, my girlfriend invited her ex-boyfriend as her best friend. He said, "You're still keeping the dress I gave you? You look really beautiful in it." I stayed silent and left. I even packed up all her belongings and sent them to her ex with a note that read, "Secondhand." The restaurant had roses and candles. I've been looking forward to our anniversary for weeks, imagining how happy Sarah would look. We'd been together for over 3 years. Late-night walks, cooking together, arguments that ended in laughter. I thought we were in it for the long haul. I knew about her past with Mark, but I thought it was over. The dress he'd given her years ago was still in her closet, but I'd never thought it would matter again. The week leading up to tonight, I made everything perfect. Bought roses, picked the music, reserved a table at her favorite restaurant, even wrote a personal note. I felt nervous and excited. When I walked in, Sarah smiled at me. "I invited someone special. You two should meet. Mark, her ex." He looked at me with that smirk I remembered all too well. "You're still keeping the dress I gave you," he said, looking at Sarah. "You look really beautiful in it." My mind went blank. My heart was pounding. I could feel my face heat up, my stomach twist. Sarah laughed softly at his comment as if it were harmless. They greeted each other easily, laughing at his jokes, reminding me of the closeness they used to have. I wanted to yell, to demand an explanation, but instead I just got up, pushed my chair back, and walked to the door. I didn't look back. I didn't say a word. By the time I reached the exit, my hands were shaking, and one thing was certain. Tonight wasn't about celebrating anymore. I got home with my chest tight, hands shaking. I sat on the couch staring at my phone. Finally, I sent a message. "We need to talk tonight." Her reply came almost immediately. "You're being childish. Calm down. We'll talk later. I'm not coming home tonight." Not coming home. The words hit harder than anything. The casual dismissal of everything I felt. My mind flashed back to dinner, her laughter, his smirk, the way she leaned into him. I got up pacing, and then I saw the dress in my mind, the one Mark had given her. I knew what I had to do. I went into her room and started pulling everything out. Clothes, shoes, trinkets, boxes of memories. I handled the dress last, folding it carefully, remembering the nights she'd worn it. I felt anger and grief at the same time. I packed everything into boxes methodically. If she wanted him, if she'd chosen him tonight, then everything she'd brought into my life could go with him too. I wrote a small note and left it on top of the boxes. Secondhand. I didn't call her. I didn't text. I left the boxes with Mark the next morning. The next day, my phone rang nonstop. Sarah, Mark, her friends, even her sister. "Leo, are you insane? How could you do this? Bring my stuff back right now." Sarah's voice was sharp. Panicked. I stayed silent. Mark's call came next. "You're such an asshole. Do you even know how much Sarah cried?" I didn't answer. Then a text from one of her friends. "Leo, this is too much. You should apologize to Sarah." I stared at it. Too far, maybe, but far enough to draw the line. Finally, I blocked them all. Sarah, Mark, everyone. No more notifications. No more being dragged into chaos that wasn't mine to manage. Months passed. Sarah and Mark got back together shortly after. It didn't last long. Mark started showing his true colors again. Messages to a new colleague named Elena. Casual texts carrying the same attention-seeking behavior he'd always had. Elena discovered Mark and Sarah were still in touch. One afternoon, she confronted Sarah in the office in front of colleagues. "Old garbage like you, and you don't even know how to behave. If you want trash like Mark, fine, but don't sneak around touching other people's stuff." Sarah was humiliated, completely embarrassed in front of colleagues she respected. The irony wasn't lost on me. She'd defended Mark when I tried to show her who he really was. Now she was the one looking foolish. Meanwhile, I focused on myself. Work, friends, my own space. That's when I met Ella. Independent, strong, respectful of boundaries. Being with her felt normal, healthy. I could trust again. Several months later, I ran into Sarah at the supermarket. She froze when she saw me with Ella. I could see in her eyes that she knew she'd made a mistake. She opened her mouth, maybe to speak, to justify, to reconnect, but I didn't let her. "Hi, Sarah," I said politely, then turned and guided Ella with me down the aisle. I felt calm, grounded. I wasn't angry anymore, just resolved. Sarah stayed behind, watching us leave. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The past was hers to deal with. I'd closed that chapter, and for the first time in a long time, I felt free. Being happy, truly happy, started with leaving the wrong people behind and keeping the right ones.